Welcome to the upstreamlife.com. I'm your founder and editor, Vishal Krishna. Before you go ahead, please like, subscribe the podcast. We've been doing over 150 episodes now. We're coming closer to 200. Your support matters to us, so like and subscribe. My guest today loves deep tech. He's been doing this for 9 years. He's supported over 350 companies. I don't know whether to call them an accelerator or an incubator or a fund or even a philanthropic organization. They've done all of this. Hi, Manoj. Thank you for being here. What's your company called?
Social Alpha.
And what are we going to talk in the podcast today?
Innovation and how innovation can create impact for society, and how do you take innovation from lab to market to communities and scale it and solve some of the most difficult, tough problems that the people and planet face today.
And if you're watching this, you want to solve that piece with incentives, understanding the infrastructure of money and how it works and the network that can make that happen. And Manoj has got an idea or two for that, okay? Enjoy the podcast, like and subscribe once again. You know, Manoj, I'm very grateful because when I meet somebody who's been in deep tech in India, I meet people who have been in the deep tech ecosystem the last 2-3 years or 4 years. But you've been in the ecosystem almost 10 years now. And what makes me happy is you came from the private equity space. You could have stayed there, made a lot of money, but you take a bet on Indian deep tech, worked with more than 350 companies, and here you are standing strong and going strong, finally, the fruits of which are finally paying off. Where do we start when we talk about Social Alpha, Manoj?
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here. It was actually not about deep tech, right? It was about solving some of the most complex problems, the tough ones, right? Like waste management. How do you solve the problem of waste management, right? Plastic pollution, right? Smallholder farmers. How many companies are innovating for smallholder farmers? They need farm equipment, they need biofertilizer, they need solutions for post-harvest loss containment, they need better agri input, and of course they are also the most vulnerable to climate change.
Agree.
Because if there is a drought, they suffer. If there is extra rainfall, they suffer, right? Are we innovating for them, right? Are we solving those problems? Healthcare, primary healthcare continues to be a challenge, right? Today, if you look at people who are poor,
Yes.
right? Where are they spending money in diagnostics, right? So out-of-pocket expenses in healthcare.
Correct.
Where is this money coming from? Borrowing. Who is lending them? The money lender. So intergenerational poverty comes because high cost of healthcare, out-of-pocket expenses.
Education.
So, you can keep counting problems one after the other. Now, some of these problems are very tough, right? You can't solve them without science and technology innovation. And that is where you need a good pipeline of innovations coming from our R&D ecosystem and academia with a promise that this innovation can solve some of these problems. Can you make healthcare more accessible and affordable for people? Can you increase income of smallholder farmers? Can you help them manage their risk? Right? Now, these are the kind of problems which require science,
Right.
which requires deep tech. Now, unfortunately, the gap between science and society here is very wide, right? If you look at a mainstream one, like somebody invents a new fabric or somebody invents a new molecule for drugs,
Yes.
that will go to market very quickly because the ecosystem exists, capital exists, infrastructure exists. But if you are solving for smallholder farmers or primary care, or you are creating a device for, say, early screening and referral for cervical cancer, who is going to fund it? Which ecosystem is going to support them? What we realize that other than government, nobody does this. Biggest investor in science and technology is government. But primarily because of this, government is also overextended. So government funds will be distributed to a larger
Pool.
demand,
Yes.
right? And that is where we need additional capital.
And that's when you thought Social Alpha
And
can
I
help,
thought
yeah.
that let's build small, like it was a hobby project. Right? So small system where we can identify one or two companies, help them with product development, then help them with operating support, help them with go-to-market, and help them with deployment. That in this process, we learned that you have to de-risk this company, right? When we build a new product in science and technology, we only think of development. How do we develop the product? But development is only one part of the story. You have to think of development, de-risking, and deployment.
Okay, 3 Ds. Development, de-risking, and
Deploy. Development means R&D. De-risking means lab to market.
Okay.
Right? All the obstacles which are there from lab to market, you have to clear them one after the other. And then just because you have invented something doesn't mean that it is ready for deployment. Right?
Okay, deployment is very key for deep tech.
So deployment means somebody has to actually go in that environment where the customer or the end user is sitting and make sure that this innovation is adopted. And why will people use an innovation? Because it's affordable, it's accessible, it has the right user experience, and it solves some problem for them, and they're willing to pay for it then, right? Now, in this process, you will suddenly realize that you also need investment. So the de-risking has two aspects. De-risking for deployment, keeping end user or customer in mind.
Correct.
And de-risking for investment, keeping larger capital pools in mind. And these two things should happen in parallel. Right? So as you are getting these innovations ready to transition from lab to market to communities, you have to continuously focus on what is the next level of de-risking,
So
right?
there's an
Are you
iteration
ready?
that's happening.
So are you ready for manufacturing? Do you have the right user experience? Do you have the right pricing? Right?
Yes.
So it's not only experiment and building a prototype, it's fixing everything that a corporation would do for their own innovation.
And finally go to market. That's the key thing.
Finally go to market, implement, and make a model which is scalable, creates impact at scale, so that more money flows into it, more people get excited about it. And since we invest in these companies sometime, not in the beginning or end, but sometime during that period, we can also get co-investors
Correct.
there, then follow-on investors. And as you keep de-risking, more investors can come in. At some point of time, your investors or founders may actually request you, can you get out of our cap table? You are not required anymore. So we get out. When we are not required, we get out. And then we redeploy our energy, our money, our bandwidth into
new companies. So this is a very interesting model. It's on one level, you go to foundations, right? Then you write de-risk for business, de-risk for VCs, which means that these startups are market ready for both these countries, that they're VCable, that they are industry ready. And finally, they obviously go to the consumer or final customer and do very well for themselves. That's a wonderful model. Did you think about it at that time or did it evolve?
No, nothing. It was just trial and error, experimentation, right? I was trying to do something new. But one thing that is universal truth, that magic happens on the intersections.
Yes.
Right? It's not black and white. It's not binary. You are working on the intersection of science and technology, societal needs, and entrepreneurial risk-taking. Right?
Correct.
And when you work on intersections, the potential of impact is there, but you have multiple stakeholders and their incentives have to be aligned. Right?
Yeah.
Collaboration is not something that naturally happens among human beings.
The key word is incentive.
Incentive. Collaboration is nice. You can talk about it, that we should collaborate.
Yes.
But we will not collaborate if our incentives are not aligned.
So
Right?
you understood that from the beginning.
That I understood from beginning, thanks to financial markets where I worked. Right? So I understood the basic nature of human beings, and that is the only good thing about capitalism, that it teaches you resource allocation. Right?
And therefore plan better. And it's a good thing. There's nothing wrong about money. Because in the end, Manoj is right, because if you don't understand where your commercial aspects of your research can go, then it's really not. Otherwise a science project.
I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example, right? Assume you are developing a solution for smallholder farmers. They will not be interested in using it if they don't see value in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your innovator is not interested if innovator doesn't see value in it. The government will not be interested if they don't see value
It's
in
the
it.
essence of business. Yes,
Right?
I agree.
The investors will not be interested if they don't see value for them. So everybody sees value bilaterally.
Yes.
Right? A wants to deal with B, A wants to deal with C wants to deal with D. But how do you get everybody together?
That symphony that you talked
Yeah,
about.
but you can't bring everybody together because they have all different incentive
needs, yeah.
right? Orchestrating this and aligning incentive is the core job. And that's, I think, we have figured it out how to do that.
Yeah, and it's
So I can bring a foundation to fund product development, but I can bring an investor to come in later. And then you go to government and request them to unlock subsidies for market creation. If the government likes what you are doing, they may unlock subsidies also.
so you're not. You can be I can call Social Alpha an accelerator, an incubator,
Investor.
an investor,
Policy advocacy.
Yeah, you have to work on policy,
NGO.
NGO as well.
On the ground, deployment NGO. Yeah, R&D.
Do you remember the first foundation or the first person that helped you saying, Manoj, I like this, let's try it? Because 9 years is not a joke. And I asked you, well, having coffee, how did you even stand strong in this, right? And you said, of the 350 companies, only 50 or something makes sense.
Yeah.
And deep tech takes
it's
a
not a
long
number.
gestation, nevertheless.
It's not a number game.
Correct.
Right?
It's not like a VC number game, correct?
Yeah. So, you know what, as I was playing with these ideas, doing experiment, it was actually, to be very honest, and I don't agitate in saying this, it was a hobby project. I said, now I'll have a retired life and do some hobby kind of thing. So when I was doing it and it became serious and some of the experiments started looking good, then we said we need to build an incubator. So our first incubator idea we took to Tata Trust. Fortunately, we had a good relationship and Mr. Tata was the chair at that point of time. And he got excited about it and we got a fund from Tata Trust to fund our incubator. So our first incubator was funded by Government of India and Tata Trust together. So that took care of the incubator. Then we built our second incubator. It was funded by Government of India. The third one, we got 3 or 4 partners pulling in some money. So we basically built 5 incubators over a period of time with different partners. Now, none of these partners support our incubator now.
One of the things I want to ask you.
But incubators are now self-sustaining.
That's good to know.
Right. Then we started doing these programs, the accelerator program.
Training.
So we got different founders, like so Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation started supporting us. IKEA Foundation started supporting our large deployment program. H&M Foundation started supporting it. Then we went to the CSR. So Pfizer supported our healthcare program. Cisco supported our agri-tech program. Cisco actually got a CSR award on that program called Golden Peacock Award based on that program performance. So it's good for them, right?
Yes.
So it's not one foundation or one CSR. Multiple people supported bits and pieces of this architecture.
That's how you kept it together.
Yeah. But the real challenge is we also invest.
Yes.
Right? We could not raise investment capital from foundations or CSR.
Yes.
So that we had to bring from our own balance sheet. But Government of India has 2 schemes. One in Department of Science and Technology, another one is called Startup India Seed Fund, the older one called Nidhi Fund. We also, because we built incubators, so government started funding us. So we got some government money to put in our startup, right? So we kind of, actually did something that an entrepreneur would do. Some money came from, our balance sheet, some money came from government, some money was coming from friends.
Yes.
Some of the friends said, oh, what you are doing is good. Can I support? I said, of course, please send money. So, you just blend it and do it. Yeah.
In this thing, I realized that you're good with people. So when you went to the Tata Trust or the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, you need connections, doors should open. And did you at any given point of time, it's a belief, right, that you can knock on these doors. How did you knock on these doors? I'm curious here. And is it because you're also pitching? You're also a startup in a way. How did you manage to solve that puzzle? Because I don't think it's easy.
No,
even if you're a foundation, you can't solve it.
So see, if you are an entrepreneur, you have to have 3-4 things. One, perseverance, grit, not giving up, right? Consistently trying. Failure has no meaning in the life of a startup entrepreneur. So that entrepreneurship is always there, right? So I am running this. We are a not-for-profit, but the way we run it is like a startup, like an enterprise, right? So you find, now I find you, so I will ask you, do you know someone?
Yeah, and we all network and collaborate.
Networking, introductions.
Yes.
And at the end of it, one thing is very important, right? We are not selling products. right? We are not selling transactions. So what we are selling basically an idea and trust, a belief system, and the impact that we are going to create. So when we go to these foundations, we have to give them the comfort that we are not here for, I'm not managing my lifestyle based on their money, right? So we respect their money, we treat it with utmost respect, we utilize it in such a way that we maximize the impact outcomes, and that confidence is very important, right? And we try to manage a tight ship, right? The second thing is that there's a lot of this is word of mouth, right? So if I worked with you and you like our work, you would make a recommendation. So the standard business things like do good work, and then people who are happy with you, they will spread the word. So we have been able to raise CSR and foundation money, but what is lacking today in our architecture is investment capital. Therefore, we only invest a small amount of money in this company.
Yeah, it'll be seed.
Right, seed. And then we have partners who like our work, like Rainmatter, we mentioned in that earlier conversation. So there are small VCs, partners who like our work, so they co-invest with us, or sometimes they wait for some time, and once we have de-risked these companies a little bit, then they invest, right? So we have built an ecosystem of co-investment and follow-on investment partners. We have built an ecosystem of philanthropic partners. We have built an ecosystem of CSR partners. And we work very closely with governments, the central government as well as state government. Central government, because a lot of government schemes allow us to unlock some public money. And state government, because the implementation is happening in the state, and most of the time agriculture or health are state subject. So you have to work very closely with the state government. And we work with UP, Odisha, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Kerala, multiple states. We have some programs. Maharashtra, for example, we are working in urban.
And this, what you tell me, you make 9 years sound like you've squeezed in the timeline in this podcast. It's not, so it's taken that many years, but you've squeezed it in so nicely that you've done all these partnerships, and then you keep them functioning. The relationship functioning, the business also functioning.
See, the thing is, you are taking an innovation from lab to market to community, right? So you have to close the loop. So we need partners in R&D. So we have partnership with CSIR, we have partnership with IITs, we have partnership with IISc, Bhava Atomic Research Center. So we keep building partnership with India's R&D ecosystem, right? NCBS TIFR, like I have startups inside Bangalore Life Science Campus for you. Then you have to build partnership with investors, because they are very important. If they co-invest, then companies can de-risk. Then you build partnership with NGOs, because when you are, like you were talking about Sirsi, if I do not have partnership with grassroots NGOs, who will test, who will pilot, right? So we have to have, then again, you have to align their incentive with your incentive. You need partnership with government, because if government thinks what you are doing is good work, then it will promote you.
Correct.
So having partnership is the crux here. You have to have this partnership, and each partnership should create value for your partner. Nobody does one-sided partnership, right? So basically, alignment of incentive becomes extremely important in this whole.
I'm glad you mentioned two things, incentive and network. They go hand in hand.
Network, incentive. A lot of people will say, and actually a lot of people tell me, collaboration is the key. I said collaboration is nice in English, good word. But collaboration doesn't happen if incentives are not aligned. Incentive could be anything. It's not just financial incentive. It could be you want recognition.
Correct.
I can do some work for you. Incentive could be mission, incentive could be happiness, incentive could be money. But you should know what is the incentive that is motivating people to act on certain things.
Absolutely. I thought we're going to go straight into the science, but I'm glad we started with the incentives and the network work, but that's the key. I'm glad you laid the foundation. For those of them watching this, I know suddenly there's an interest in deep science. A lot of professors can watch this. A lot of the students in IITs or even other colleges who are into R&D are watching this. How does the Indian deep science network incentive ecosystem differ from the ones in the US? We were talking Stanford. We can also bring in Harvard, MIT, Columbia as well, in many ways. How is that ecosystem compared to India on a high level? You should tell me that. I also want to know why Europe has finally fallen behind, because Europe was the epicenter of industrialization, but today it seems there's a chance for India and Asia. I mean, India has become the third largest in terms of GDP, I think, right? And I would like to know why so, and why deep tech can really help our country if we get these things right.
So it's a very large
Yes, it's a
philosophical
vast
question.
philosophical
But
question, but it makes sense for the professors who want to go into commercial level.
Let me start by saying that any country that invests in higher education and research will be a good candidate for making these innovations successful. So one of the primary conditions is that you must have high quality higher education and research system, right? And fortunately we have.
We do have it. We've invested in it, yes.
We do have. And we have to keep investing. We have to keep investing, and it's the government that does it, right? So I would say, almost
The policy direction.
Almost all of our institutions, IITs and CSIR and ISRO,
Yes.
so they are publicly funded. So very good. We have a great base here. Now coming to the innovation for impact. So what happens? Most countries which are successful, their innovation is happening, but innovation is also responding to the needs, right? Unmet needs. And that's a very important thing. For example, a corporation, if a corporation invests in R&D, they will invest only when they know that somebody is going to pay for that product, right? Somebody is going to use that product. In public systems, you have to start with a list of problem statement that you are solving. So assume you identified the problem of, say, housing, right? And you said that with increasing temperature due to climate change, we need housing which is more sustainable and people should not feel very hot in the summer. So what can we do? And then you say we need new materials so that we can change the material composition of our built environment. Good problem you have identified. You are a researcher. You may actually work in the lab and build some new material that in lab scale shows some properties, and you may write a paper and publish a paper and say, I have done this. It's great, but now the real thing is that you have to find a way of converting this research into something that has tangible value, right? So translational part of the research is something which is what takes an innovation from lab to market. I think we need to start investing much more in the translational research also.
Okay.
And when you do translational research, the infrastructure, the skills, they change from lab research, because you are now doing testing and development of the prototype at a larger scale. Assume in the lab you were doing fermentation of a 1 liter size, experiment, which is good enough for you to get some result. But what if you have to do a 100 liter one, right? So you need translational research capability, infrastructure, interest and intent also.
Yes.
Right? And then you need a willingness to spin off companies from here, and those companies then can be funded, right? Then you need capital for funding these companies. You need market access support, right? So if you see from lab to market to deployment, it's a large infrastructure with multiple missing pieces which are required. The good thing is, as a country, we are filling these gaps one after the other, right? What needs to be done is, especially for the social sector, for the problems of agriculture, climate change, healthcare, we need to do little more than what we are doing, and that is where private sector needs to step in.
Up.
Now, it's easy to say that private sector needs to step in to supplement and complement government effort, but private sector by definition will do what makes sense for their business.
The business sense. Yes,
right?
like you said, why would
Correct.
Uber come into India? There are no roads.
And therefore, there is a role to play for the philanthropy and foundations, because philanthropy and foundation must recognize that government will do whatever they can within the limitations of public finance and those boundaries. Private sector will do what makes sense for their shareholders.
Yes.
And therefore, philanthropy is the third power after government and private sector that can step in and say, okay, if there are socially relevant or environmentally relevant innovations, and we need to take those innovations from lab to market and make them investment ready, industry ready, deployment ready, that early de-risking we are willing to fund. This is exactly what happens in US and Europe, where philanthropic funding supplements the government or public funding. In India, we are slowly warming up to this. We still haven't seen very large investments in R&D from philanthropy.
From the company side, has that happened? Go on, finish.
The interesting thing is, India's first and most premier institute, Indian Institute of Science, was built through philanthropy funds during British rule.
From the Mysore Maharaj.
When British were not interested.
Correct.
The Maharaja of Mysore, Jamsetji Tata, kind of people got together to build IISc. So we have a history, right? TIFR, IISc. We have a history of philanthropy funding science and technology. I think we have to restart that. And now we have a lot of money in family offices, a lot of money in high net worth individual pockets. I think some of that should come out for science and complement and supplement what public finance is doing and what private sector is doing.
What about the industries? Are they doing it at all in any which way?
I would...
Or is it more like take a license?
I think industry will do what makes sense for industry, right? So I'm actually not a critic of industry, because industry has to deliver return to their shareholders, and they need technology for improving the product so that they have a competitive advantage against their competitor, right? So they also do R&D in their own R&D shop. So their relationship with R&D institutions and academia is very good, because it's symbiotic, right? So if I have money for R&D, I can ask an academic institution or R&D center to do research for me. So industry can do contract research. Industry can also do licensing and IP transfers.
Yes.
But what will happen? Like, who is the industry for a smallholder farmer?
Nobody.
Now in this case, the only solution is spinning off a startup, right, and helping the startup to work with the smallholder farmers and create products that smallholder farmers need, because it creates value for them. And if we can demonstrate that it's creating value for them, they will pay, right? And there can be a business model. So demand generation is as important as focusing on supply side of innovation.
You mentioned small farmers. My question is, do you think there's so many moving pieces in India? Fragmented is a great word, because to get these pieces together, everybody's passing the buck to saying, okay, you asked the right question. Why should will anybody help small and marginal farmers? Nobody wants to. Is it because it's so fragmented and there are too many moving pieces? Or a seed company, I'm selling seeds to them, so why should I care? And there's a farm aggregates company, say, I'm sending them tractors, I'm giving it to them. So why do something to improve their livelihood? Like you said, how should they manage, say, climate change, which is happening and it'll affect them directly. The companies themselves are not reacting, but you're right, it's an opportunity. There's a space in between that if many farmers disappear, who's going to grow our food? But at the moment, does it bother you that there's too much fragmentation and nobody sees the issues to be, because everyone's either busy, say, shareholder wealth, yes, great.
I think with due respect to all the players, we have to demonstrate, right? And one thing by design, we have decided that we cannot be asking others to do something what they have not done or what they
don't want to do.
Right? So let's do something. And we are very focused on do rather than talk part. Right? So let's do something.
Absolutely.
Create something, demonstrate it. Whether, a lot of people say farmers don't want to pay. I ask them, okay, have you tried providing them value? No. Then how can you say?
Yeah.
Do you know that farmers pay for anybody? Every consumer is willing to pay. But people pay when they see value. Have you demonstrated value to them?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Demonstration of value to a corporate is very different. To the corporate, you have to show how it will improve your business and your shareholder value.
Yeah, it's similar with the farmer.
Same. Farmer also you have to show that your income will go up. This year you made 50 rupees, next year you will make 60 rupees.
So you're saying let's talk less and let's demonstrate.
Talk less, do more.
Yes.
This is, see, innovation ecosystem is not about panel discussion.
So you're saying fragmentation is an opportunity.
Fragmentation is an opportunity, and fragmentation will happen because India is a very different country. We have we have multiple agroclimatic zones.
Correct.
We have diversity. We have multiple problems. Every group of problems in India is a huge
So
opportunity.
you can't look at it as a one-size cookie-cutter approach. No.
What works in Bengal will not work in Maharashtra. What works in Maharashtra will not work in
Yeah. You can tell with the food culture as well. Our foods are very different. Yes. Very interesting.
Even climates are different, right? Soil types are different, right? Healthcare, like a doctor treating fever in one geography, they have a completely different epidemiological profile than other geographies.
The foundational knowledge is very different there.
Very, very important.
So, okay, you've done all this. We've talked about all this. Now let's talk about the companies. I want to talk about innovations that you're happy about. 350 companies, and I'm sure you'll have some favorites. You talk about incentives and networks. Talk about some of the companies that you worked with that have solved this. It can be in healthcare or ecology, sustainability. It can be in anything.
Yeah.
If you can name some.
So science and technology innovation from lab to market is tough because these are tough problems that you are trying to solve, tough technologies. And it takes time.
Correct.
So you need patience.
Yes.
It can be very long, right?
Painstaking.
To have that, sometimes 10, 15-year journey, right? It also requires a lot of money. That means you will have to have deep pockets or the sources of capital. So, you are doing 3-4 things which are simultaneously bad, right? You are taking risk, which is very high, right? You are investing where the money is not really available. Then you are taking a long-term view. Someone else innovates better than you, right? So, I have great respect for these innovators who are trying to solve problems in livelihoods,
Correct.
healthcare, climate, because they are taking long-term risk, right? And focused with perseverance and determination to solve these tough.
So innovation risk, investment risk, social risk, and business risk. They're solving all of these.
You spend 8 years of your life building a product, and then if you are not successful, what do you do, right? So, great determination, patience, perseverance, everything is required. Very strong
You need to be a
personality,
strong
endurance,
personality.
right?
Yeah. Do you meet all your founders are like that?
Yeah.
How do you create that? No, unless it's like it's tough.
Yeah, but people
Become.
have the desire, right? So we have Arjun, right? Arjun is a great story.
That's at the MRI company.
Arjun left the comfort of academia where he was getting a monthly paycheck.
What was the name of the company again?
Voxel Grids.
Voxel Grid, correct. It's the most affordable MRI in the market today or something of that sort.
It will be soon, right? So it takes, again.
It takes time, yes.
Yeah, so started building prototype. We had our first prototype in Satya Sai Hospital in Whitefield. It was tested there. Then COVID happened, so clinical trials got delayed. We ran out of money many times, right? So
that's a story.
So product development is not like, an overnight sprint. It's a real long journey. And you will have moments of pleasure, success, and moments of failure, right? So how do you manage that? Right? You fix something, it breaks, then you fix it again, then it works, right? So you face success and failure on a regular basis. And then you have to raise money. You have to do clinical trials. You have to get regulatory approvals. Right? So the characteristic of a deep tech founder is very different because they are not overfunded. They are always just enough, right? Or bootstrapping or working with less number of people in resource constrained environment. Big companies R&D versus a startup R&D, the environments are different. The infrastructure is different, right? Your studio versus some big TV channels studio, right? Fundamental difference in infrastructure, hardware, capital access, network.
And to create that journey in MRI is not easy, especially dominated by GE, Philips, and others.
Yeah, GE, Philips, Siemens, all the big players. But look at Arjun's determination.
Yeah.
That he's still playing it, right? And now we have one Sri J investor, and we are doing the first commercial installation. We have received the regulatory approval in India. But to get to scale and manufacturing is still few steps away from it. But, some companies have done it faster. Like 1090 is a great example. 1090 came from IIT Madras. These were PhD students. They participated in our clean energy challenge, and they were part of our first cohort of our accelerator. And we did their pilot, and then we invested in them. And 6-7 years now,
you just had
6 years down line, we just had an exit. And this money has come back, and and it gives us an opportunity to redeploy this in the same kind of capital. So being a not-for-profit, we don't take the money out, we redeploy it, right?
Yes.
And we have ability to do grant, equity, all kind of financing.
Like you said, you had labs, you have ventures, and community.
Yeah,
So that's what you wanted to do.
So architecture is such that you have Social Alpha Labs, which is very close, which has very close and nice relationship with India's incubators and R&D institutions, because in Social Alpha Labs, we are looking for a pipeline of startups, and we can provide them physical lab infrastructure in Delhi and Bangalore, or we can provide them virtual, support. Social Alpha Labs deals with like early stage. Like incubators are most of the time suppliers of innovations there. 0 to 1 journey that you call, right? Social Alpha Ventures is more of de-risking. How do you de-risk an innovation or a startup from the market and business perspective, right? Do you have the right market size? Do you have a product market fit? Can you raise money? Do you have pilots? Can we run a pilot and see whether de-risking is possible? Is there an opportunity to iterate and make some incremental tweaks? All that happens in Social Alpha Ventures, and that is where we start estimating whether this company is investable or not. And if we think that the company is investable, just because we are saying it investable is not going to make a difference.
Yeah.
People will still
because
do due diligence.
would look, the due diligence would be market risk.
So as a matter of principle in Social Alpha, if we say that this company is now investable, we have to write the first check to show that we have skin in the game. And skin in the game is the very important part of our work. Then we go to other investors and say, look, we have invested in this company, we have done the due diligence, would you like to join the round? Some of them say yes. Like Rainmatter is one of the great family offices that has been doing it with us. Some of them say, we are interested in this space, but come to us after a year or two. We want to see little more market traction, right? We'll say. Then we help them with pilots and deployment, and then if they become investable, sometimes follow-on investors come in. Some follow-on investors can say that we want more stake, or the founder may say, thank you, Social Alpha, your role is over now. These people are going to take us to the next level. So we can exit also, right?
Which is good.
This is the deployment architecture. It's called Social Alpha Community. That is where we run large-scale programs with foundations to do actual implementation and scale up.
And where you're doing some farm projects, you said.
Correct. Or healthcare or climate change. So Social Alpha Labs is 0 to 1 prototype. Social Alpha Ventures is deployment readiness, product market fit.
Yeah, that's where the capital comes in.
Correct. And at least you show that this thing is working. And Social Alpha Communities is about scaling.
Yeah, because you have a foundation coming in or a CSR.
So large scale pilots you can do, and you can. At the end of the third part, question is, are you ready for scale? In the second one, are you ready for deployment? And the first one, are you ready for testing? Can you do a sandbox pilot? So it's like primary school, middle school, and senior school. The criteria is very different.
Yeah, the graduation.
Right? 0 to 1, 1 to 100, 100 to infinity.
Are foundations as tough as VCs? Oh, that's okay.
See,
how do you require them to be tough?
I think it's all about coming back, incentive alignment, right? You are a foundation, you are interested in healthcare, and you are only interested in primary care. So I have to come to you with a proposal that talks about how do you create innovation pipeline in primary healthcare. And you have to demonstrate that you can do this or you have done this. So each foundation has a stated objective,
Yes.
right? Sometimes we go to foundations and we tell them that we are interested in climate, health, livelihood. Sometimes they say we are interested in, are you in? Sometimes they ask us to do something that we are not interested in. So we say, thank you, we are not interested. We don't need your money, right? We are not your service provider. Sometimes they say, thank you, we are not interested working with you, right? But we have to find that intersection.
Yeah.
Foundation is interested in doing something, social alpha is interested in doing something. What is the common ground? That is where the incentive alignment is happening. We will do that.
How, for you to close all this, and how much time do you take in a sense? Say somebody you want to go to a foundation or CSR or a VC. Is there a timeline that you say that, okay, if I can't convince these guys in 2 meetings, then that means they're not interested? How do you look at it?
No.
How do you look at closing
In my
the loop?
older days, I used to do all that, but now I don't give up till I'm thrown out of the office.
That's a good way to put it. So you
Because
literally have to do that.
See, right now I'm working in social sector, so I only care about the community, right? Society and impact. Therefore, I'm willing to take anything from anybody. Right? I go, I say, we will do it. They say, come after 1 month. After 1 month, I will
Sure.
present my and show up.
So that's what entrepreneurship is about too. Yeah.
It's not giving up because the large, see, you cannot work in this sector with an ego because the larger objective is societal. If you really want to make sure that your startup can solve primary healthcare, diagnostic devices problem, you have to stand in the queue, whoever is giving the money, right? So,
Absolutely.
if I had a lot of money in my bank account that can fund all this, then I would have a very different approach to it.
But you chose not
Like
to
Bill
do
Gates.
that. Yeah, absolutely. But you work with these guys, or Bill Gates.
We
or the
work with
foundation.
Gates Foundation. They are very supportive of our work. Yeah.
What's been the biggest mistake you made in this journey, if I may ask? The reason I'm asking is not like other
No,
podcasts.
I
I'll tell you
will
what I mean.
Very honest.
Because you talked about incentive and it's money. An incentive could also be happiness, but I'm sure not many people want the happiness part. Okay, at least when it's VCable. How biggest mistake you made?
Like we are all naive with
Most of us are, yeah.
most of the time, right? We think what we know is enough and sufficient. When I started, I thought that it's a money problem. So it was a hobby product. Right? I said, okay, we'll write a check and people are not getting money and therefore they will do the thing. Actually, money is one part of this jigsaw puzzle. It's very important, but it's not just a money problem. There's so many things: market development, policy advocacy, testing, pilots. Are you solving the right problem? You may build a great product, right? After 5 years of R&D, but nobody wants to pay for it or use it, right? So, identifying problems and then solving that problem with innovation, building an ecosystem around this whole lab to market journey. These are some of the things we learned as we did, right? So biggest mistake I would say that we started by assuming that because VCs are not investing, if we invest, we'll solve the problem. It's not that. There is a reason why VCs don't invest in social sector. They don't invest because they don't see value for their risk, right? It's the business of risk and they have to return. They have a fiduciary responsibility to their LPs, right? So they can't just put money in waste management startup or healthcare startup.
Yeah, because
right?
they have to see the end. And then where is this going to go?
Yeah. So I think
So you made such mistakes. Do people hate you? I mean, at the point people would hate some mistakes like that. How do you handle those things?
No, I made mistake in hiring. I made mistake.
Who doesn't?
I have made mistake in not firing, right? Sometimes you don't fire people and you just...
Yeah, you need to call. So I'm glad with this. I'm sorry, I digressed a bit because these are also philosophical, hard questions.
Yeah, I was like, I'm in social sector, I have to be nicer, right? So in my corporate life, I would hire and fire people without any guilt.
Yeah.
In the social sector, I said, let's give them more chance, all those. So I think this is all unfair. At the end of it, if you are not doing exactly what is required for the impact, you are not servicing the end user.
Yes.
Right, who is your real customer.
Absolutely. I'm glad. Let's come back to that because you mentioned Tan90, one of the startups that's made a lot of impact of late recently because of their innovation. You want to talk about them. They're in the cold chain space, right?
Yeah, so these people developed as part of their PhD thesis a new phase change material, which we did first pilot, I think, in UP at that point of time with smallholder farmers
Yeah.
on extending the shelf life of vegetable and fruit produce.
Okay.
Right?
So taking it in their boxes?
Yeah.
They're not thermocol boxes.
They're not thermocol. You
That's
have
the beauty of it.
boxes with inner lining with this phase change material. Then it can be used in healthcare, like vaccines
Yes.
and
More
biologicals,
vaccines. Correct.
right?
Agreed.
You can use it in multiple use cases. But the use case that has scaled in urban environment is very different, which at least I never imagined.
What is it?
I think founders imagined, but I never.
Food delivery?
No, so you order ice cream on Zomato and Swiggy.
That comes that box. It's theirs? Wow, fantastic. So no wonder the ice cream doesn't melt on the way. Correct. Yeah, now I get it.
So company is doing very good, and we have exited. But the founders are extremely intelligent. They had a lot of patience. Last 7-8 years, they have committed. They had option of making an academic career, but they decided to become entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Between the pool of IITs that come into these kind of subjects, industry, what about the other colleges and streams? You have not, in your community, can you include colleges?
No, if you put a
What is the role of colleges in deep tech? Other colleges? There's so many.
So you see, if you put a map of India, you will see our startups are coming from not just big cities, but places like Jodhpur and Kanpur, and Manipal. Right, one company, Black Frog Technologies, came from Manipal, and they have developed a very nice vaccine carrier, which is a backpack. Right, and it is now accredited by WHO. Recently, Global Innovation Fund invested in it. We are still invested. Manipal family.
You can deploy it in Africa, maybe.
Yeah. They are actually deploying in Africa, and then Manipal Group has invested in them. Rajan Pai's family office, they have invested in them. So companies are coming not just from Bangalore, Bombay, Madras, Delhi, but also from smaller towns,
which is a
very good thing. Number one,
and not just IITs.
Not just IITs. Yeah. A lot of these people are actually from, like EF Polymer is a company which came from Udaipur, right? And it has now got Series B investment. They made a biopolymer, which when you add to the soil, improves the moisture retention in the soil. Therefore, need for irrigation reduces, and therefore farmers save money on irrigation, and therefore they pay them. Right?
Interesting. It's come Udaipur.
Yeah, non-subsidized.
Because the trading town Udaipur, and coming from there.
Yeah, engineers built this company, and recently Gates Foundation actually has decided to take it to global market.
Good to know.
They are in Japan now.
Good to know.
The company is now incorporated in Japan. There's a set of Japanese investors who have invested in them. They are doing absolutely fantastic, right? But their first pilot happened in Bundelkhand region, where drought-prone area is there, right?
I read about them, yes.
So, yeah.
The Bundelkhand region has been suffering from drought for years now.
So,
decades.
You know what? A lot of these founders are from small towns.
Who aspire to build these things.
Yeah, lesser known colleges. Some of them are not very good in PowerPoint and English speaking, right? But they are very good in engineering and science.
So they communicate the aspect of the technology well, I'm sure.
They're good, yeah.
Right.
So see, we have been given this very glamorous picture of a startup world, right?
It's also the media, right? Because money is there where it's all VCs.
Well, and not every startup will be a unicorn, right? So you are solving problem. If you solve a problem that is good and good enough to solve, big enough to solve, people are willing to pay for it because they realize that it's a problem to be solved, you will make money. Money making should not be the primary objective of innovation in a startup. It should be a pleasant outcome of innovation in a startup.
Yeah, I agree.
You should make money, right? But you should make money because you solved a problem.
Yeah, not otherwise. Correct. Right? Otherwise, there's no meaning to it. Otherwise, it's a passion project kind of thing.
But there's nothing wrong in that, right? Business is very fundamental to innovation. Without business innovation, you can open source an innovation, but how many people will actually use it, right? There's so many open source technologies already available, right?
No, what next for you, Manoj? Next 4 years?
What next?
Yeah, 2 years. What do you want to do?
I think
because
now,
you are saying the first set of investments or support that
do you receive our newsletter? We call our newsletter Work in Progress.
I must subscribe to it.
I'll send it.
Yes.
So work in progress means what we are doing is work in progress. We have not really solved some big problem.
Right.
Little bit of experiments
Bits and pieces.
here and there. I'm very proud of my team that we have got some traction. But I think next 2-3 years would be to create a playbook right? And make it more repeatable, scalable, which is very difficult because every innovation is different, every problem is different. So how do you scale? That's a question. How do you raise more money? That's another question. But I have one thing that I'm not changing from day one in my mind, that some of our most complex problems cannot be solved without science, technology, innovation.
That's true.
Therefore, we have to continuously, like for example, plastic was created by some science, no?
Yes, absolutely.
And now it has taken over our
This
life.
entire room, this AI, this what cancellation, noise cancellation that we are wearing.
Now
the
plastic is a
earphones or
challenge for human race.
the speakers, whatever they call this. What do you call this, Nitin? What do you call this? Mic. See, I forgot. Mic is an innovation. We're sitting here. Before we had these wires.
But
flowing
now,
through.
now we are also saying that plastic is polluting. It's going into the landfill. It's a dangerous thing for human race. Now you have to replace it. Now replacing it is not going to be done without some new science, developing some new biopolymer or some technology that can depolymerize plastic or recycle it, right? So the tool is not going to be different, right? You can't say, okay, let us stop using plastic. No, it's not going to happen. People want convenience, price point, right? So at the end of it, I think science, you have to believe in science and you have to believe that innovation and entrepreneurship has solved several problems in past, vaccines, drugs.
Correct.
So for future also, we need startups, innovators who are using science and technology to solve complex societal problems at a scale.
No, that's very well said. That's fundamental. And I really wish you all the best. Your team is 100 plus members. And I hope you reach more deep tech companies. And you're right, deep tech is a mindset also, right? You're solving the need not just for business, but there's also value that you're providing to your customer. It could be farmers, it could be nurses, doctors. You provide value to them, then you're solving
If
a situation.
if you solve a problem and create value, you will make money. Don't worry about money because you are changing the paradigm. You are saying, I will make money by solving a problem and creating value and demonstrating value. Right? It is very different than saying, I will make money by trading or I will make money by selling in secondaries. You are saying, I'll create a product. I will show end user the value of using that product.
Yes.
If they recognize the value of using that product, they will pay, and that is how I am going to make money. That is the mindset of a social entrepreneur. And that is the mindset of a deep tech entrepreneur.
You know, this podcast can continue because I want to talk about EVs. You have you also have labs. You're saying EVs, you don't want to generally invest in just EVs.
Yeah, everybody.
You got to focus on something else.
Everybody is investing in EV right now, right? So many EV companies are there. So we are focusing on things which are transformative. Like you need, if you are in EV industry, you need batteries. Now, lithium-ion battery is great, but India does not have lithium security. You must have read in
rare earths, everything. Magnets also.
We need some self-reliance there. Sodium-ion battery could be one of the solutions. There could be other chemistries also. I'm not hung up on one chemistry. So what we are doing, we have already got 3 companies now, and we are actively searching for
what
more
chemistries?
Sodium-ion.
Sodium-ion. Okay.
We want to build a portfolio.
Sodium-ion could be great for commercial vehicles.
You get the right energy density, right cycle time, you will do. But I want to build a portfolio of battery companies in India. There's multiple battery companies, right?
Yeah.
Why can't we have multiple battery
Why not?
companies? And they will be for stationary use, they will be for motors, they will be for small thing. You know, for every particular use case, you need some source of battery, right? Similarly, we are investing in material science, right? Can you create new material to replace material that has no sustainable promise, for example? We are investing in food system. We are investing in primary health care, right? Can you do screening in a village very early so that you can do a referral and reduce the cost of healthcare by early treatment and improve the health outcome? Right?
This is not video health or telehealth that we're talking about. This is different to that.
Video health, telehealth is fine. That is happening.
Yes.
Digital health, lot of things are happening. But I'll give you an example. Can you have a non-invasive device that your frontline health worker like ASHA worker can use in a village to check the hemoglobin level of.
Why not? That can be done, yes.
That can be done, no? But I don't have one today, for example.
Yeah, but the companies that do it, they're very expensive, $100 plus. Because I've used all these
So we need,
non-invasive things.
if you ask me in healthcare, what do we need? We need non-invasive screening and diagnostic devices. If you ask agriculture, we need smallholder farm equipment or robotics and AI for small farmers. Also, what we need is biogas. Biogas is a known technology, but you know what? There is not a single Indian company that is doing productization of biogas. There are one or two foreign companies in the market. We need innovations which can increase the income of farmers, reduce their risk, make their life better, help them manage their risk better. We need innovation that can reduce the cost of healthcare, that can make healthcare more accessible. We need innovation that can reduce the greenhouse gas emission.
This biogas thing, it's a stove, is it? Most of them look at it. You said it has to be an entire ecosystem again.
Yeah,
It just can't be a stove or some kind of
See, a lot of biogas work that is happening is project mode.
Correct.
People will come do a project for you. Why can't we productize it? Because productization assures end user good quality of product, service, after sales service, right?
Yeah.
And also for the startup or for the business, it's a more non-linear way of doing business, right? You have refrigerator. Nobody sells you cooling service. People sell you refrigerator, washing machine, microwave, oven, mixer grinder. Why don't we have a box called biogas that you go, people
Plug in,
implement
just plug in.
plug and play.
Which is great. Yeah.
It's not impossible. It's just a question of are people interested in solving these problems.
So with that, what you need a supply chain also the biogas itself.
Decentralized. Earlier decentralized solar
at
was
home.
not there. Na?
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at Selco. How
Correct.
beautifully
Selco is
Selco has done decentralized solar
Correct.
energy.
Correct.
Right? A villager in one room or two rooms needs very limited energy, right?
I agree.
And their rooftop can provide them. So
Absolutely.
decentralized solar energy is a very good example of grassroots innovation. Can we have decentralized biogas?
We can. Why not?
Can I
That's the
generate
attempt.
my cooking gas for my
So,
house?
again, going back to your system of incentive, somebody should know what the
Incentive
is.
alignment, right? Yeah. Incentive alignment is actually that has run the world, right? And we forget when we talk about social impact that incentive alignment is as important there.
Absolutely. And you have labs. You have a
We
lab
have
in Delhi, you have a
lab
lab
in
in
Delhi and
Bangalore.
Bangalore where startups can go, innovators can go, use the facility.
So tying back to my college, these college students who are innovating can come to your lab. They have to apply.
So they can see what facilities they need. Companies which are incubated by us, they get a lot of free support also. And when well-funded companies come to us, there are sometimes well-funded companies come to us because they want to use our lab. Then we charge them. They can pay. Those who can pay, we charge them. Those who can't pay, we provide.
And these labs give you access to all kinds of technology. In the sense, if I'm an EV, I get access to something.
So what happens when we build the lab, we had a finite set of things, and then as we get more money, we keep incrementally adding.
So there are tools available.
Yeah, we have software, hardware. We have our own battery testing facility, for example.
That's what I want to know. Yeah.
Right. So recently, one large corporation was testing a battery. They did not have battery testing facility. The battery came from US.
Yeah.
So they asked us, and we said, okay, you pay us and use our facility.
Fantastic.
So we have prototyping. We don't have biological facilities, but we have partnerships with
labs.
And like we have a joint venture with CSIR NL. Right, with them we work in aerospace and space tech space.
You know, there's so much. I can do this podcast for another 1 hour. And we have many more subjects. So we'll do it again. I'll invite you again. I want to know what books have you read or movies that inspired you, or it can be art as well. But recommend some books.
Do you read Calvin and Hobbes?
Yeah. Who doesn't love Calvin Hobbes? That's amazing. Right?
I love that.
It's a good political satire.
Yeah, every time you read it, you find something
new,
and you can relate it to startup because of some politics or anything. I love Calvin and Hobbes. I have one set in my
Yeah, the entire...
Yeah. It's kept on my office desk. I like Taleb a lot, right? Skin in the Game, right? His first book was Fooled by Randomness.
Yeah. Didn't he write Black Swan as well?
Black Swan, so yeah, that was a later one. Yeah. And
those are good books.
what I like is his, focus on the risk. Life is all about management of risk, right? So social work, commercial work, this is very artificial segmentation. There is, like people say, why investors are not investing in social work? Because it does not fit their risk appetite.
Incentive appetite.
Right?
Yes.
Why philanthropists to do it? Because they can take higher risk. And why government does it? Government take even higher risk. So
Government can actually fund
yeah,
fund it with debt. Yes.
so this whole thing is about risk return trade off. If you are willing to take very high risk, you will invest in a company before their product is ready.
Yes, I
If
made
you're-
that mistake, so I know.
Yeah, but if you are not willing to take risk, you will put your money in bank deposit, you will get 6% interest, right?
Yeah.
So, and you are extremely low risk, then you will say this bank can fail. I'll put it in government bond, right?
Yes.
So, risk return is a very long continuum, and different people and different institutions actually sit at different part of that continuum. And like private equity guys take less risk, VC guys take little more. We are at the bottom of that. We take very high risk, right?
Yeah, you never
On
know how to
idea,
succeed,
on
yeah.
innovation. So, yeah.
No, I wish you all the best, and thank you for recommending those books. And Calvin Hobbes was, if you haven't tried as
It's
a
a fun
student, you
book,
should. And it is definitely a satire on.
I like the satire in that. And then Taleb writes very well.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't like him, but I like him because he is saying that let us focus on understanding of risk,
Yeah.
right? And then do you have the appropriate tools and knowledge to manage that, right?
Absolutely.
And skin in the game, the concept is that if you do not have skin in the game and you are not recipient of the outcome of your actions or your advice, right, then you're not relevant.
I agree.
Right? At the end of it, for example, an airline pilot has much higher skin in the game while flying a plane compared to a McKinsey consultant advising a company.
Absolutely. That's well said, and all the best to Social Alpha.
Thank you so much.
And we'll do this again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You come to office one day.
I have to come. And on that note, you visit their labs in Yeshwanthpur and in Delhi. The address, is on the
Follow us
website.
and follow us on LinkedIn and look at our website. Subscribe to our newsletter.
Similar, you subscribe to Upstream Live. Thanks for getting this far. Like, subscribe, share, and ask questions. That's where I get Manoj to answer your deepest, deep science questions are very important. If you guys are engineers, please ask. Thank you.